Hi everyone, today in Integrated Math 2, we're going to go over Chapter 8, Lesson 4. Here are the objectives. Make sure you write them down in your notes. Alright, properties of rectangles. A rectangle is a parallelogram with 4 right angles. Remember, we're saying you have to have 4 right angles. Think about another parallelogram that must have 4 right angles is a square. By definition, a rectangle has the following properties. All 4 angles are right angles, which we have here. Opposite sides are parallel and congruent. Got it? Opposite angles are congruent. They have to be. Consecutive angles are supplementary. Remember, when we're talking about consecutive angles being supplementary, we're saying they have to add up to 180 degrees. 90 plus 90 is 180 degrees. And then diagonals bisect each other. So if you were to extend this line and make another line, they would have to bisect. And the last thing, the diagonals of the rectangle are congruent, which they will be as well. All right, so let's go over the theorem, diagonals of a rectangle. If a parallelogram is a rectangle, then its diagonals are congruent. So in our case, if parallelogram is a rectangle, diagonals are congruent. So for our case, we have the parallelogram J, K, L, and M. We know it's a rectangle. Because of that, then I know that side JL and KM, or MK, they must be the same. So if I was to put this line in blue, so darker blue, and this line would also have to be blue because they are congruent. So then we had diagonals of a rectangle continued. If the diagonals of a parallelogram are congruent, then the parallelogram is a rectangle. So if side WY and XZ in this parallelogram WXYZ, if these are congruent, then we know we have a parallelogram. So remember, if we're having a rectangle, we know that each of these angles must be 90 degrees. So no matter what we do, as you see here, as it turns and turns, all these angles are still 90 degrees. And the parallel sides remain parallel, even as I move them. But also notice as I'm moving them, even the side lengths remain the same, because they still have to be congruent. So just as this side length is 13.93, this one's 13.93. This side length, let's see if we even change it, is 8.21. This is now 8.21. It's all fitting those definitions that we were just learning about. Then let's talk about our diagonals. So I added our diagonals here. As you see, this length here is the same as this length here. If you add them, they're also going to be the same length as these two here. They are congruent. All right, and that's it.